Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley, and today I'm here with
Easton, DeMilia.
And Easton. Before we start, I understand you've got some words for our viewers.
Oh, I have a very important word. March Madness is coming up, and Missouri Sports Talk is having their own March Madness bracket on Live March Madness app.
The winner gets $20 as well. Hopefully that doesn't pose a challenge with Learfield.
No, I don't think it would.
I think our policy is we just can't gamble. So I'm not putting money and winning money. So I think if I reward our number one fan, I think it should be fine.
I'll just give it to the second place person because I'm going to win it. So I guess you just got to go for second.
I guess so. All right, so let's start it. All right. Everyone probably sees the Blair Oaks hoodie. Mm-hmm. We go to Blair Oaks together. Of course, I'm only doing senior profile, so it's very obvious. We're in the same class.
Yeah, we are.
So we've known each other for about 7 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while. Great times.
Yeah, so let's jump into it. You play 3 sports?
Yes, I do. Okay. It's a lot.
What do you play?
I play baseball, run cross country, and I do some wrestling.
All right, so let's just jump straight into it. Your first 2 years in school, how did you do in these 3 sports?
Oh, I did really well, I thought, for a freshman. As going in from 8th grade to freshman year, that you have to make jumps or else you're not really going to do well. And I felt like I made those jumps. My freshman year, I actually played 4 sports, surprisingly. Because of COVID and all that, they were worried about that hockey would not be able to be played because St. Louis was so uptight and not worried about kind of bringing it together and making sure no one spreads that virus. So my parents were worried that I wouldn't play a winter sport, and I am highly ADHD, so I have to do something and be active. So I picked up wrestling as my 4th sport. So my freshman year went pretty well with the fall, starting with cross country. I ran a PR of 18:28 at Bowling Green. It was a great course and great running, honestly. I had a good team to push me that year, and we found a way to make it to state. Individually and as a team, I got 120th in 1919, which is not the best, but it is for a freshman. I felt like I did really well. Moving into sophomore year with cross country, I kind of made a big step training in the summer, getting to a 1756 at Bowling Green as well. And I made it to state as well, wearing a 1807 and getting 79th. But as a team, we made tied our record for 10th place. So I thought that was a pretty cool experience, being able to come back to Blair Oaks and saying we did something that is just bigger than our team. It's big for the school.
Right. I feel like our class, maybe controversial to some of the older people watching this, I feel like our 2024 class may be the most credentialed class in Blair Oaks history.
Oh, yeah. We have a lot of great athletes. You have multiple D1 commits and a lot of people who are going to JUCO, D2, NAIA. There's just so many people, and we're just all talented, I think, at sports.
Lots of rings to prove our point here as well.
Yes. Football has 2, I know. Wrestling had 1, 3rd place trophy. Baseball had a state championship our freshman year.
Volleyball, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Back to back to back.
That was crazy.
Yep.
It was a great run.
Yeah, we've got a very nice class, and of course you're a feature in it.
Yep. Then moving on to wrestling, my freshman year, I made a huge jump from my 8th grade year. I really wasn't a big technical guy. I really wasn't big into wrestling because I still was playing hockey at that time, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this for a year. It's going to be enjoyable. And then all of a sudden things clicked. I started winning matches. I went 35-14 as a freshman. I was facing a lot of younger kids because I was at 106. But I was like, it's a great start. And I'm like, if I just pursue this because I made state, I'm like, maybe I am a state medalist. And then my sophomore year, I made the biggest jump. I think I found a way to win those big matches because we started our tournament at the Missouri Duels. And I lost against 3 or 4 guys that I kind of got dominated by the year before. And then all of a sudden, I just start beating these guys. I'm like, oh, I'm actually okay at this thing. And I just continued to work at it. Had a great partner, Whit Nichols, and he's going with me to William Woods. So it was just a great opportunity. And then baseball, I played freshman baseball as a freshman, nothing really. Got varsity time as a sophomore. Played against Troy's my first game. I played pretty well. I caught, who did I catch? I caught Ethan Tobin. I caught Tyler Doman. And they're 2 good pitchers. And we were winning by 10-3, but we did find a way to blow it.
Really?
Yeah. But no, that game I went 1 for 3. I had 1 AB. I just completely got blew by my fastballs, but other than that, I caught a great game. I thought I threw a kid out, but apparently he was safe. But I still think he was out.
Refs getting screwy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Umps getting screwy.
Yep.
So let's move to your junior year now.
So my junior year, I wrestled 120, and that was a big jump for me because I was so used to wrestling those lighter weights. And 120 is where you start getting some older guys that are more experienced and actually start cutting a lot of weight. So my first tournament at 120, I was like, man, I'm small. But I continued to find a way to win matches. And I was like, well, I just got to keep that gas tank because I think my key for wrestling is my endurance. And I found a way to win 50 matches. And coming off a third place medal my sophomore year, I knew that if I just continue to persevere, do that hard work, I can do stuff. And then comes the postseason, I wrestled really well in districts. I found a way to get second against a really tough kid. And then we got the draw. I got the draw at state, and I'm like, oh, yes, let's go. I can find a way to medal and maybe make the finals. So my first match, I win by a major decision against a kid that I wrestled pretty tough my first time. I was actually down by 4, and I got a 5-point move in the third period to reverse him to his back. And I just held him there, and I found a way to win that match pretty honestly handedly than I did the first time. It was just a preparation we had. And then my second match, I beat the kid 72 prior, but I knew he was a tough opponent. He was a strong wrestler. He's from Odessa, so he's going to be pretty solid. So I went into the match ready to go, and then all of a sudden I do a single. We get in a little scramble, and all of a sudden I have him on his back kind of, but he's kind of rolling through, and I get rolled through to my back, and I was like, oh, that's just a horrible way. I thought I had it to make it, but then I still had to wrestle another match. And I had to wrestle a kid. I wrestled my first match actually that year. I decisioned him my first match 4-3, and it was a tough one. And then I wrestled him later that tournament. I controlled the pace, controlled the match. And then at districts, he was my semifinal match, so I knew if you wrestle a guy 3 times, it's going to be a tough match no matter where you are. That 4th time wrestling someone, they knew everything, they game planned, and when you're beating someone, you can only change so much because if you don't want to change something that's working. So that's what I had to do. I had to just continue with the plan and found a way to get an early takedown, and then I was actually trailing after the first period 3-2. Then I found a way to get a cradle and then get him on his back, and then from then on I just controlled the pace, controlled the match to win it. And then the next day at the state tournament, it was really nerve-wracking because I was a medalist the year prior, and I'm like, oh, man, I have a really tough kid. I actually wrestled him in the bubble the year prior as well. So I wrestled a lot of familiar faces at state that year. And he should have been a medalist because I wrestled a kid in my 5th place match that I just kind of destroyed. And knowing that he didn't medal was kind of crazy to me. But I did find a way to pull off and win that bowl match 4-3. And then in my consolation semifinals match, I wrestled the guy I wrestled in districts, and then I lost to him again. So he kind of owned me that year, and then I won in tech pinned a guy in the 5th place match to end that state tournament, and then just keep that momentum on to my senior year. And then in my junior year in cross country, I ran really well. I got a PR of, 17:43 at Camdenton, and I thought I really turned the corner. And then I just found a way to run a 17:50 at state. I got 69th. So I think that was, it was just a good race, honestly. I ran really well. Cody ran with me, so it was kind of only 2 guys. There was horrible conditions, 20-mile-per-hour winds that my parents said, I really love you a lot, but I don't know if I really want to go with the weather. But they did. They were bundled up. They said it sucked, but it was definitely way worse for me because I had to wear the short shorts and the tank top, so it's all cold, wet. But no, it was a fun race. After, everyone's freezing, but there's a cool picture me and Cody before the race, just balled up, just we want some warmth. And then the guy takes 400 years to say, on your mark, get ready, and then shoots the gun off. So he just keeps yapping about you may not pick up runners and stuff like that. Because the year prior, actually my freshman year, Fatima won the state championship because the second place team had a guy that fell, but a different runner picked him up and crossed the line, and then they DQ'd him. So that made Fatima hop to first, and then they fell to third.
That sucks.
Yeah. And then baseball, I really turned the corner. I found a way to start on varsity. I don't know what I hit, but I think it was high 200s. I played right field in district game. That didn't go well, but it was just a fun season around a great people. We had a great, I think, good group of seniors that led us pretty well. But I think this group of seniors is ready to go for baseball. And then moving into my senior year, just basically running on a stress fracture for like the last half of the season was tough. I found a way to PR barely by 2 seconds at Mexico for my, yeah, it was the meet right before districts. And that was, then we had a good 2 weeks off for me to recover before districts. And then knowing that if we would have ran in a different meet, I might have not made it to state is kind of crazy just because my foot and another one of my teammates' foot was just like kind of done for, kind of. We just ran so much and ran hard on it that it was just hard to run with. And then districts, we just honestly just straight toughness, honestly. I was halfway through the race and I just felt the pain. Every step was more pain, and looking around knowing that like there was not a big gap on anyone, I was like, oh crap, no. So about with a mile and a half left, I turn around and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to like maybe kind of make a surge. There was still probably 35, 40 kids, like, well, 35th to 40th place, like right on my tail. And it was just like tough, like to realize that I still have to push through this. It was probably like a 10-second split change, and yeah. And then moving on to the race, about with 2.5 miles left, I kind of realized that, okay, I'm comfortable. Don't really push too hard on it. I saw Carter Kimker just like ahead of me by 20, 30 seconds. So I'm like, okay, we're going to have two guys for sure at state. And then I just continue to finish the race. I find a way to get 21st, 23rd, something like that. And then out of nowhere, Cody and Caden and Casey just out of nowhere come by, and they're like 28, 29. I'm like, no way. We got 4 guys to state. Looking at the team score, we almost found a way to get a team again to the state, and which would have been a big deal for us because that was a goal we would strive for. But like things happened, and we were just like, honestly, one good race, someone just to, out of nowhere go off, and we would have made it. And I thought they ran really well. Then moving into state, me and Carter were still banged up, but Cody and Caden, honestly, probably ran their best races of the season. Cody PR'd by 13 seconds. Caden got top 60 as a freshman. And that's crazy to think about his projectability or whatever. Like, he could be a state placer, and it's just good to see that our team was just like so good and we just pushed our bodies really well. I ran a right race. I was still going through pain, and it was funny though, like the memories during the race, like people just cheering you on and the funny faces. Like we had 2 seniors that ran with me prior from one runs in college right now, Levi Frisbee, and then Thomas McCauley. They're like, what's going on, Easton? Like, they're trying to yell at me in the race. You got this, Easton, push through. And you can tell, like, they didn't know something was wrong. And then I explained the story, and they're like, oh, yeah, we were wondering what was going on. And then another funny story is during the race, Caden Casey was running by me, and he yelled, is this how you want to do it? Come on. And then he said, what was it? I can't think of it. David Goggins, like, carry the boats or something. And it kind of got me going a little, relax, calm the nerves. And I got a way to finish with a 17:53 at state, which still isn't like what I was going for. But running that at state just ended the career. I didn't get the best place I wanted, but it was a big race for me. And then moving into my wrestling, I was hurt for like the first quarter of the season, something like that. So that kind of stung a little, knowing that that's how I was beginning my wrestling season. But by end of December, I was able to start competing, and I wrestled really well my first tournament. I won that. And then moving into January is when we started wrestling some harder competition. And I kind of struggled because I still didn't have my gas tank I wanted. I just got off a winning conference my first meet in January. And I was like, I wasn't wrestling my best, and I felt like something was wrong. But then I kind of hit my stride end of January, early February. I wrestled at Brookfield. I lost a tough one to a Versailles kid that wrestled a great match. I beat him 1 point, and then he just beat me my I forgot the score, but he like majored me, and it was kind of like, okay, Easton, like you got to lock in and like do those extra reps. And so the cool thing was we got mats during the season, new mats. So I got an opportunity to get a mat. So I started training in my basement. I would shadow wrestle, do stuff like that, and really get my conditioning up. And then I turned the corner. I won a decent amount of my last matches going into the postseason. And then districts rolls around. I have the kid I lost to prior in the consolation semis and the districts finals the year prior, and then I wrestled him tough. I honestly wrestled a 1-point match going into the final minute, and I'm still convinced this day I should have won with 2-point near fall, but I don't know because in the end of the first period I had a Turk, and I kind of got near fall. Me and Cole Peters kind of looked at it. I thought it was 2. He did too, but things happened. I wrestled through the match. I lost by 2, but it was a great wrestling match between 2 great wrestlers. And going into the postseason, I got the draw again. I just knew I had a really tough first match, Car Shippers. He beat me when at Pleasant Hill right before districts. And then I knew it was going to be a tough match. We kept watching film. And then I got the first takedown to begin the match. And then with 10 seconds, 15 seconds left, he got a reversal. And then he chose bottom, and I was like, okay, this is where I want to be. I want to ride him out. And all of a sudden, I get a cradle, lock it up, readjust it, and he's pinned. And it was just so cool because I knew that's where our points were needed for state to get third. And then I wrestled my next match. I destroyed him. I pinned him in the second. And then I wrestled a really tough guy in the semifinals. I lost, pretty much got manhandled, but things happen. I wrestled back. I got in my consolation semis. I had a kid that actually beat the kid I wrestled in my first round match. It was shocking to me because I thought I had him back. Had to wrestle him again, but I found a way to stick that kid in the second as well. And then to get third at state on a medical forfeit's kind of bittersweet just because you got third, but it was kind of like, did I really? But knowing that kid probably wasn't 100% healthy, I probably would have beat him. But it'd been cool to wrestle that kid because he's really tough. He was a one state the year prior at 113. So I was like, okay, because going in the season, we knew our bracket would be stacked. And now moving on to baseball, I'm excited for the season, ready to play. Played pretty well my jamboree, but just ready to go. Starting the season this weekend, actually. So Saturday, we play Saney and Camdenton. Looking forward to that. Hoping to get a few innings, I hit pretty well so far. I'm having sometimes struggling with some off speed, so I got to fix that. But I'm excited for the season.
Right, and this video will probably be up on Saturday as well. So it's game day.
It will be. It's game day.
Maybe
ready to go.
Some people are watching. They may watch it a little bit later, though. So for the people that tune in right away, it's
game day.
It's game
Let's
one,
go.
game two. So before we go to college and where you're committing, let's talk about some personal stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, so Easton, I want to ask you, I know you're not from Jefferson City, so give me a little timeline of the places that you've lived before you settled down here.
Well, it's been a roller coaster ride, honestly. I grew up in Nebraska, but I was born in Iowa, so that's one of the kind of cool things, I guess, to say. But no, after Nebraska, I lived there for 4 or 5 years. Then I moved to Missouri and Macon. I went to Macon until 3rd grade. And then my dad was coaching at Truman during this time, so I was around baseball a lot, and that was my favorite sport. And then I moved to Jeff City. I went to Clarence Lawson, and then 3rd grade. 3rd grade. And then I went there through 3rd grade, finished the year out. And then we moved to Blair Oaks. And that's where me and you met. Yeah. It's been a roller coaster ride. It's been a great ride, but I'm excited I ended up at Blair Oaks because who knows what I'd be doing if I didn't move here.
Trying to fit in at Cap City, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I would, yeah.
Cap City's not like too crazily different from us, but it's definitely a different landscape. We've got a very unique school.
Yeah, we do. It's a great community. I feel like it's like a small community that everyone's around. No matter who you are, you're supporting Blair Oaks. But there are some Helias kids in our district that, should go to Blair Oaks, but they go to Helias.
It is what it is, I guess.
I guess so.
They're on the dark side.
Yeah, we're the good side,
All right, so Easton, of course you mentioned your dad coaching baseball. For anybody that didn't put 2 and 2 together yet,
Yep.
one of my earlier episodes I had Coach DeMilia on. That is your dad.
That is.
So I want to ask you, what kind of pressure do you have with him being your baseball and wrestling coach? Not only, like being your dad, but he has to, find that middle of being your dad and being your coach.
Honestly, I think it's just a great opportunity for me to connect. Wrestling season, it's just every day you're either cutting weight or focusing on a match, and knowing that you can go 2 rooms over and just say, hey, what am I doing wrong? Or he's there to help no matter what. And it's not really pressure, but it's just, I feel like a great opportunity to be around him, knowing that he's helped me develop into, honestly, a good baseball player and even a great wrestler to continue to wrestle at the next level. It's just something that you just can't ever forget, knowing that he was, honestly, one of the big contributors to your success. And it's a funny story. My sophomore year, a parent was like, I don't know, like mad at him, but I don't know what, but they said, you're the reason your son medaled. And like they were meaning it as like haha, I got you. But it was like, honestly, it's the truth. He was one of the big reasons I medaled.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big
job
thank
as
you.
a coach then, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be a different conversation. Like if people are like, your son's starting in baseball
Yeah.
because of you, but if you're like, your son medaled because of you, that is a compliment. So.
Yeah.
So that's nice. I was really looking for your perspective there. I like that. So you're going to William Woods.
I am.
I know
indeed.
you mentioned that a little bit, but let's get into it. Why William Woods?
Honestly, they have a really good communications department, and honestly, I really like the coach. It's a new program that I feel like they're going to have great success in the future, and I'm just excited to wrestle at that next level.
So I want to ask you, what's your weight going to be at William Woods? And then I want to ask you, what's your normal walk-around weight after that?
So I'm planning to wrestle 125 or 133. I really talked to the coach much about it. They're anticipating me to do 133, but I know that I'll have better success if I cut more weight, and just honestly, I feel bigger and lengthier than most of my opponents. But yeah, that's what I'm planning. My walk-around weight is right now probably around 145, 150. So I probably did cut about 25 to 30 pounds last year. And I'm willing to do it because I know that there's a great goal, honestly, for this team's success as well as my individual success.
So what does it take cutting this weight and holding it for weeks?
Well, it's a big process that I have kind of learned to be an art. So at first, you're going to have to cut out like a lot of carbs and feel drained. But thankfully, you're not wrestling and competing during that time. And then I learned to make this weight about 10 pounds out. So if I'm wrestling 120, 130 is not honestly a bad weight to be hydrated, eating pretty good, just a happy weight kind of. And then when you get to that closer to your meets, it's a lot of saunas, hard workouts, extra layers I've learned that make a practice a lot more challenging. And honestly, they've helped me a lot, honestly, in the wrestling matches because I feel like I'm more endured because, like, you're wearing all these layers. And when you're wrestling, you're just wearing a singlet, so you're not wearing all these layers to sweat all the weight out.
All right, so I want to ask you, what are your goals for your career at William Woods?
My goal is honestly to be an NAI champ. Honestly, I just want to see this team first be successful and be succeeding. They had their first qualifier last year, and it's a good start, but I just know that this freshman incoming class is filled with a big group and a bunch of guys ready to work, like Witt. They have a kid named Lane Patterson, Lane Kimbley, who just won state, and I know all those guys, and I know they're willing to put in the work to be their very best, and knowing that that's in the room, we're going to be very good.
All right, so our last thing for today, last question. We work at Learfield together. I
Yes,
helped
we do.
you get on the job, of course.
Yeah, you did.
Helped you
I really appreciate it.
send in the application. You have a lot of interest in this. So what is your major at William Woods, and what are you wanting to do as a career?
I really want to be a play-by-play broadcaster. I think that'd be a cool thing. I'm going into hopefully a double major. I haven't decided between like nutrition or like some sort of therapy. I don't know how would you say it, physical therapy. I just want to learn a lot, and knowing that I can be a good broadcaster because I know a lot about sports and can talk about it a decent amount. It's a pretty cool opportunity that I'm eager for. And knowing that William Woods is honestly a great suit for that communications field with different programs they have there and just the connections they have for broadcasting is intrigued me and helped me make the decision to go there.
Awesome. Well, Easton, thank you for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. It's been an honor to be on Missouri Sports Talk.
Thank you. So, I guess maybe one more interview in between our March Madness videos. Maybe after the March Madness videos.
Selection Sunday, though.
Yeah, Selection Sunday's coming up. We're going to have separate videos. Austin and I decided that we're going to do a round of 64, round of 32, 16, 8, and then probably Final Four together.
Is this so like no one can make fun of your brackets for being like really far off?
Well, that's a good point. That's one of them. I think the main decision there is so we don't have an hour and a half video, and it'll be more likely that people will want to watch.
Yeah.
And kind of retain viewership a little bit, because having a round of 64 video that's like maybe 15 minutes is a lot different than a March Madness prediction video that's an hour and a half. So we're gonna take steps with this one.
I'm gonna be tuned in for that one. I'm excited to see what your bracket is.
I'm hoping that you get top 5 in our challenge too.
I do too. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'll probably do shout outs along the way for the people that are top 5 as well.
Yeah, I'm not the best at basketball. I'm just excited because now I know like more about basketball, being at Learfield and like learning players' names. That was honestly the biggest thing.
All right, well, once again, thank you very much for coming on the show, Easton.
Thank you.
This has been Missouri Sports Talk. We'll see you next time.